Hello, my name is Tori and I am a doctor of physical therapy who specializes in pelvic dysfunction, which means I treat things that can go wrong around the pelvis. Back in 2019, I made a video talking about chronic yeast infections, and I mentioned boric acid suppositories as a potential treatment option. Since then, I've gotten a number of questions and requests asking me to speak more about boric acid and its relationship to vaginal health, and that's exactly what I plan on doing in today's video. We will begin by talking about healthy vaginal environments and potentially unhealthy vaginal environments so that we can make sense of the potential therapeutic benefits of boric acid. We'll then talk about what boric acid is, how it works, and important safety considerations before finally discussing how to use boric acid suppositories and what to expect. Before we get started, I am so excited to announce that today's video is sponsored by NutraBlast, Boric Life, boric acid suppositories, and their at-home vaginal pH test strips. I am really happy and honored to be working with this company because creating a video that really focused on education and empowering their potential consumers with as much information and knowledge as possible was just as important to them as it is to me. We'll talk more about the product details throughout the video, but if after watching this video, talking with a healthcare provider who knows you, that you trust, and doing your research, if you decide that boric acid suppositories or vaginal pH strips might be helpful for you, you can use the link in the description below to get 20% off of your first order with NutraBlast. So, our vaginas have a microbiome, or a community of microorganisms that keep us safe and healthy, just like the microbiome in our guts. Our vaginas are naturally acidic. To remind you, pH is a measure of acidity and basicity. It is scaled from 0 to 14, where anything greater than 7 is considered basic, anything less than 7 is considered acidic, and 7, right on the nose, is considered neutral. To better understand the scale, think about vinegar, water, and milk of magnesia. Vinegar is acidic, and it has a pH of around 2.5. Water is neutral, and it has a pH of 7. And milk of magnesia is basic. It has a pH of about 10.5. Vaginas, as we mentioned, are naturally acidic, and they have a pH value that can range from 3.5 to 4.5. It is the vaginal microbiome, specifically a type of bacteria called lactobacilli, that maintain this acidic and healthy vaginal environment. And while science isn't completely sure, the general hypothesis is that the acidic vaginal pH and the microorganisms that help to maintain it help protect the vagina against opportunistic infections like yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis, and generally keep the vagina healthy. Now that we've discussed what a healthy vaginal environment looks like, let's talk about how changes in that environment could lead to a potentially unhealthy vagina. Yeast infections are caused by a type of fungi known as Candida. Candida can live in the vaginal environment without causing any harm, but if left unchecked, Candida can be opportunistic, which means a small asymptomatic colony can turn into a large symptomatic infection. The same is true of bacterial vaginosis, or BV. BV is caused by bacteria. And while we aren't entirely sure of its pathology, we know that BV is associated with a more basic vaginal environment, which means higher on that pH scale, and it tends to be associated with a decrease in lactobacilli, that really helpful type of bacteria that we were talking about earlier. We think that these two things in combination allow small, otherwise harmless groups of bacteria to become opportunistic and grow into bigger, symptomatic infections. We also know that symptoms of these infections can include foul odor, itching, and irritation, and sometimes those symptoms are present when you have an infection, sometimes those symptoms are present when you don't have an infection or before an infection is detectable. Either way, our best guess is that symptoms like this tend to have to do with a sort of imbalance in the vaginal environment. A quick note on vaginal odor. It is very important to me that you know that when I talk about a foul odor, I am talking about a strong, yeasty, fishy, abnormal smell. Normal vaginas sweat, which means normal vaginas have their own perfectly healthy scent. What can affect the vaginal microbiome? Using scented soaps or body wash around the vagina can introduce unwanted chemicals. The same is true of certain types of lubricants, as well as tampons, pads, and feminine sprays. Douching can also significantly alter the vaginal environment. Antibiotics can change the vaginal environment because they kill not only bad bacteria, but also good bacteria. Sex can affect the vaginal microbiome. Humans have different microbiomes living on our skin, and when our vagina comes in contact with another human's skin microbiome, that can change the vaginal environment. If you're having unprotected heterosexual sex, semen has a higher pH value of around 7 or 8, and that could affect your vaginal pH. The same is true of blood. Blood has a higher pH value of around 7.4, which means if you're menstruating and you leave your tampon in for too long, that could affect your vaginal pH. Finally, hormones are very much worth considering. Whether your hormones are being altered by the natural flow of your cycle, some sort of birth control, or menopause. Anytime there is less estrogen in your body, you tend to be more susceptible to vaginal infections. We aren't really sure why, but we think less estrogen is connected to less lactobacilli. All of this to say, maintaining a balanced vaginal pH is super important when it comes to vaginal health. And that's where boric acid comes in. Boric acid is an odorless white crystal, and when it is used as a vaginal suppository, it is ground into a powder. It has antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral properties. Boric acid suppositories have been used to treat vaginal infections for over 100 years, and while we still aren't entirely sure of its mechanism of action, we do have some hypotheses. We think boric acid may be effective in treating yeast infections because of its acidic nature and its antifungal properties. Our guess is that its acidic nature helped to balance the pH if the vaginal pH is off, and we think its antifungal properties help to kill off the candida, the unwanted yeast that's causing the infection in the first place. We think boric acid suppositories may be effective in treating bacterial vaginosis, especially chronic stubborn infections, again because of its acidic nature and because of its antibacterial properties. Again, with BV, we do know that there tends to be a higher vaginal pH, a more basic vaginal pH, so the acidic nature of the boric acid suppositories could be really helpful in optimizing that vaginal environment. And boric acid does have antibacterial properties, and the hope there is that those antibacterial properties are able to kill off the unwanted bacteria that are causing the bacterial vaginosis in the first place. And finally, when someone has unwanted vaginal symptoms like odor, itchiness, irritation without an infection present, we do think that it's the acidic nature of the boric acid suppositories that help to optimize the vaginal pH and therefore correct those unwanted symptoms. Now that we've talked about what boric acid is and how it might work, it's incredibly important that we discuss its safety, its potential side effects, and who should and should not be using boric acid suppositories. While boric acid suppositories, like many supplements, have not been approved by the FDA, there are many studies suggesting that they are safe, economic alternative options for people with vaginas, and I've seen them work wonders for women in the clinic. That being said, there are some potential side effects that are worth considering. The most common side effects include vaginal discomfort, a mild burning sensation after inserting the boric acid suppository, redness, watery vaginal discharge, and a sandy or gritty sensation in the vagina after insertion. Some women experience some mild cramping and mild bleeding, but if you experience intense cramping or bleeding, that is not a normal response to a boric acid suppository. You should stop using them and you should consult your physician immediately. You should not use boric acid suppositories without first consulting with a healthcare provider who you trust, or if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, have pelvic inflammatory disease, or anything else that is listed here on the screen. Remember, boric acid is safe to use inside of your vagina, but it is not safe to eat. Please do not ingest boric acid. Finally, be sure to speak with a healthcare provider about any other medicines or supplements that you might be taking, especially if those include estrogen or magnesium, before using boric acid suppositories. All right, let's finally talk about how to use boric acid suppositories and what to expect when you're using them. If you and your physician decide that boric acid suppositories are a good intervention for you, purchasing them online is a way to save both time and money. However, if you decide to purchase online, it is really important to choose a company that uses medical grade boric acid and that offers the correct therapeutic amount of the product, which is 600 milligrams of boric acid per suppository. Boric Life is routinely tested for efficacy and quality control by a certified and reputable third-party testing laboratory. It is also manufactured in an FDA-registered and inspected facility. NutraBlast uses vegetable capsules and Capsogel's patented and natural colorants to write Boric Life on their suppositories, making their product natural, vegan, and vegetarian friendly. Finally, they offer their customers an it works or it's free policy, which means if Boric Life or the vaginal pH strips don't work for you, NutraBlast offers a 100% money-back guarantee. So should you decide to use boric acid suppositories, I do want to share a few things with you. Make sure you wash your hands before inserting your boric acid suppository. Inserting the suppositories with your finger is a perfectly effective strategy. It may feel better to use some lubricant or oil to aid in the ease of insertion. When inserting, be sure you push the suppository as deep into your vagina as you comfortably can, as sometimes the redness and burning side effects we discussed earlier are due to too shallow of an insertion. I also wanted to share that if using your finger doesn't feel like a good fit for you, or you're worried that if you use your finger you won't get enough depth with your suppository insertion, NutraBlast does also have suppository applicators. They're a separate purchase. You get 15 at a time, and they are built very similar to tampons. So the way that they're set up, when you pull this down, if you look inside, there's room inside for a pill. So I'll show you. With our suppository applicator ready to go, you can take your boric acid suppository and put it right inside, and then you can insert to quite a bit of depth, longer than a finger. And once you are inserted to the proper position, you just push, much like a tampon. Inserting the suppositories at night so that they can stay in place, and finally making sure that you wear underwear with a panty liner to bed can be really helpful, as you may experience that watery vaginal discharge that we talked about earlier. If you're interested in testing your vagina's pH to get a pulse on the health of your vagina, consider NutraBlast's pH testing strips. To use these, again, make sure you wash your hands and that you and your vagina are dry. Remember that water has a neutral pH and it can throw off your test results. Rip a strip off, spread your vaginal lips, and touch the strips against the inside wall of your vagina. Alternatively, you can use a Q-tip to swab the inside wall of your vagina and then rub the Q-tip against the strip. Then simply read the results. Don't forget, if you want to give either of these products a try, you can use the link in the description below to get 20% off of your first order with NutraBlast. On that note, thank you all so much for watching. I am so excited to be making requested content, and I can't believe I am making my first sponsored video. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it, please share it, feel free to comment absolutely anything down below, questions you might have, other kinds of videos you'd like to see on this channel. I do try really hard to read and respond to all of my comments. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram, and finally, please subscribe to the channel for more content, not only about pelvic health and pelvic related things, but also about life and being a human. Thank you again so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.